I think faith is something that happens because you think something makes sense. So you can start from this really low level of, does that make sense or not? And I think this is really in line with the way the Buddhist teachings work. It's, you hear something and then you reflect on it and you look at how it works in your ordinary life. And if it makes sense, you do it some more. And if it doesn't make sense, you don't. And this is I think, a difficulty that we could have as Western Buddhists, because since we don't have always the natural faith to rely on, we might make our judgments too early. We might feel things don't make sense soon enough. We don't give enough of a chance. So that could happen. But on the other hand, if we start to have this feeling where, faith is like, also, I trust myself. I trust my own sense of what's happening. So that makes sense. And then I do it a little bit more. And I think then faith is something which is gradually building. I don't think that faith, which comes from examination, is the same as like this more natural, intuitive kind of faith. But I think that faith that comes from examination can be very solid for people. I mean, if we use our intellectual mind and we think to ourselves, the result of what I'm practicing should reduce my suffering. That's what the Buddhist teachings teach. And then when I see that happen, I can become a little bit more willing to practice them. Or if I start working with a teacher and that teacher gives me some feedback and I follow that advice once, and then I think there was a good result to that, then I'm willing to do it again. So I think these early encounters that we have of thinking, like, do things make sense or not? And can I trust like my own sense of if things make sense or not? Because that's also, an issue that we could have, is just, I don't really know what direction I want to go. We do kind of have to settle down and decide, like, I'm actually going to follow this path the way that it's taught and see how that works out. Based on that, I think we can come to a kind of faith which is pretty stable and based on examination. And I think from there, we can have, maybe we can have experiences that are more like natural faith, because maybe from there, we're willing to take a leap that we weren't willing to take before. And it took us kind of longer or a little bit different way to get there.